What's going on, everyone, and welcome to another Epic vs. Epic episode, of course, Zombies Edition. Now, to those of you who are new, this is a series where I give you the rundown of two epic variants and their performance in zombies overall and in comparison to one another. This series is still relatively new, so if you guys have any recommendations on epic comparisons that you guys want to see in the future, or any improvements that you guys may have in mind for this series, please don't hesitate to write any of that down in the comment section below. But with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about the first weapon. The first epic we're going to talk about is the NV4 Chaos. Now, it's no surprise that the basic NV4 is a full auto ballistic firing AR. It was also for a very long time my go-to wall weapon of choice. The Chaos is exactly the same as the basic NV4s. Its only real difference is an increased fire rate when hip firing, along with a slightly lower rate of fire when aiming. Although I gotta say, the lowered fire rate when aiming is surprisingly very useful when it comes to having bang bangs equipped, which does seem to be only slightly lower than the normal NV4's fire rate. In terms of hip firing with bang bangs or hip firing in general with this gun, I strongly recommend a laser sight to help keep that out of control bang bangs recoil a little more on point. Next, we have the Type 2 Butcher. So I've always thought the basic Type 2 was a piece of shit. You know, its only real use was point accumulation. Well, that, and back when Fusion Mag was broken for it, you basically had infinite ammo, which granted a little extra points to be earned on the side. It could kill, but with the high rate of fire, the amount of ammunition it takes to kill a zombie, and all this in relation to the total ammunition we're given with it, I just never saw it as a practical gun to play with. The Butcher variant, however, completely reinvents this gun and brings this dynamic fluid playstyle from multiplayer over into zombies, which is pretty cool. Not a lot of epics can actually do it the same way the Butcher does as well. You know, the Butcher does it so effortlessly, so perfectly. I wish they paid more attention to other epics like they did with this. So, with the Butcher, you still have its normal unimpressive AR mode for point accumulation, but if you want something more efficient both ammo and killing wise, the Butcher's 87 trait has you covered. Thanks to this trait, you're now granted dual fully automatic shotguns versus prior full auto dual pistols, which is fantastic because there's really no difference between the pistols and shotguns besides the shotguns being a little more efficient in killing. You know, they still have 32 rounds in each gun and stay full auto as shotguns. The shotguns are also complemented very nicely by both the Bang Bangs and Racing Stripes perk to help capture the essence of run and gun type of playstyle. Now that I gave all of you a brief rundown of each epic, let's take a look at how these weapons actually perform throughout the duration of a zombies game. But before we get straight into that, I just want to give you guys a brief heads up. In terms of the Butcher, I'm going to focus exclusively on its alternate firing mode, simply for the fact that its AR mode doesn't change in any way from the base to the Butcher or Epic. So with that out of the way, you do have the potential of either or even obtaining both as soon as round 4. Of course, that's on Raven the Redwoods. In Spaceland, it's a little bit different since the Type 2 isn't a wall weapon. But both can be tamed as soon as round 4 on Raven the Redwoods, and in between round 4 all the way up to round 8, these weapons are a little bit of an overkill. The Butcher is a consistent 1 to 2 shots from the chest and up, while the Chaos is roughly 1 to 3 shots to the head, both hip firing and while aiming. So between round 9 and round 15, you'll start to notice zombies becoming a little more resilient, and along with that, you'll definitely notice that the Chaos is having less of a punch. This becomes apparent about round 12 to round 13. Bang Bangs is definitely helpful at killing zombies quicker at this point, but it still feels like the Chaos is pretty underpowered, especially when you have the Butcher as your secondary weapon. Speaking of the Butcher, it still has a high 1 to 2 shot killing potential, although as the rounds progress, you're really going to have to rely on being either really close to zombies to kill them with less shots, or you can decide to take the low road and play more reckless by just spraying, and with the help of Bang Bangs, you'll definitely be killing and earning points. But this does come with the danger of constantly having to buy ammunition and creating crawlers for yourself if you're not careful. If you pack at this point, it does give the Chaos a bit more worth and usefulness, but the Butcher is a little bit of an overkill all over again. I personally like to push my guns to the very limit. The Chaos, if you're surviving solo just on this gun, I wouldn't go any further than round 21 without Pack-a-Punch, at least comfortably. The Butcher, I wouldn't go any further than round 25 without Pack-a-Punch. The Butcher, I've actually went all the way up to round 27, 28, which tells you a lot about how effective it is at killing. The only real drawback at that point in time would be ammunition. You just burn through it like crazy. It's really not going that far without Pack-a-Punching at least once. So speaking about Pack-a-Punch, guys, honestly, when you pack these two weapons, it just seems to carry a little bit of its worth from earlier rounds. So for instance, the way the Chaos works in between round 10 and round 15 without Pack-a-Punch is how that gun is going to work between round 18 and round 24 packed once. And the same thing, if you pack it on round 24 and carry it over to round 30, that's how it's going to work in the previous period of rounds. Obviously discrepancies in there, but that's because there's a lot of inconsistencies with the game itself. But that's how Pack-a-Punch works in Infinite Warfare Zombies. So if you look at it that way, on earlier rounds the Chaos is going to be a little bit of an overkill, but slowly as zombies become a little more resilient, you're going to actually burn through more ammunition in order to kill it. Is it going to kill? Is it still effective in killing? Absolutely. It plays exactly the same as the basic NV4. A little bit of a faster fire rate. Bang bangs really doesn't seem to help out that much when you're hip firing. If there's any difference in terms of killing with this weapon, it's very, very minuscule and it's hard to detect. The Butcher, on the other hand, it always seems to be a consistent 1 to 2 shot kill, you know, from one period to the next. And really the only time I ever really had to pack a punch was to increase the killing efficiency so that way I don't burn through as much ammunition on the higher rounds. So when it boils down to these two epics, guys, honestly, I'd side with the Butcher all the way. I mean, it's ammo efficient and it's really solid in terms of killing. Obviously, it's got a huge drawback of creating crawlers, but if you're always aware and on point with your shots, then crawlers really isn't ever that much of an issue. So let me know what you guys think. Which of these two epics do you still plan on crafting? If you guys have any questions on either one of these epics, maybe check out the Is It Worth It episodes that I've did on these guns. If you still have any further questions, do not hesitate to write them down in the comment section below. I'll be sure to help you guys out in that. Also, let me know which of the two basics is your favorite. Do you like the basic Type 2 or do you like the basic NV4? As far as the basics go, I love the NV4, but the Butcher just completely reinvents this gun. It's hard to side against it. But thank you guys so much for watching. Like always, my name is Cynic, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Have a great day.